What's up? This is Randy. I'm about 800 miles away from my normal habitat in Colorado, and so I thought, perfect episode for remote play. PS5s at home safely, but I got my PS4, a Dell i7 Ultrabook, I got an iPhone 10, I got an iPad Pro, so we're gonna test those things all out, see how well they do, hopefully resolve some of the headache before you go, because if you're not prepared, and you get to your destination, and then all of a sudden you can't communicate to your PS5, then you're shit out of luck, right? So, all right.
First thing you got to do is go over to your settings, down to system, down to remote play, over to enable remote play, and then toggle the switch. The one thing that is most important is that you keep the PlayStation in rest mode. Otherwise, this whole thing is shot. What we want to do is make sure you're directly connected to your modem. Plug in a Ethernet cable, preferably high speed. You could probably get one of those nowadays for like $7.99, $8.99, depending on the length and where you're getting it from, of course. Right now, I have this tapeworm looking thing. It's like a 60-footer. It shows me pretty good results. I have it whipping around my entire room, into the wall, into the crawl space, behind all this shit over here. To make sure that it's not visible. It's like freaking Blair Witch Project, you know? It's scary in there. Kids' toys that are going off in the middle of the night.
There's just stuff that we need to confront with Ghost Adventures or something. All right, let's get in there. Let's connect this biznitch. Can you see? All right, let's go. I got this. All right. Ugh, yuck. I don't want to touch that. Freaking child's play, kids playing hopscotch, singing songs, scaring everybody. All right, so let's go ahead and test this out and see if we're stable.
The most important thing is to test everything, and the most important thing to test is your PS5's internet connection. So since we have already connected that, let's go ahead and test it and see what we get. First things first, let's go to our settings, go down to network. Just for funsies, let's go ahead and test the speed on our Wi-Fi just to see how they differ. Not bad, it looks like we got 234.4 down and 11.9 up. Next, let's go back down to settings and then set up internet connection. Let's go ahead and select wired LAN 1, hit connect. Now let's go back and test the internet speeds again. Alright, looks like our verdict is 290 download and 11.8 upload, which is, you know, a little bit of an increase on our download speeds, not so much on the upload. But then again, if I was to test this out at night, you know, we'll probably get better results. There's less people watching Netflix, watching MTV Road Rule Challenge. But anyways, stability is what we want, so direct connecting is the way to go. But that's done. Let's go ahead and jump over and test out our devices. Unfortunately, during the taping of this video, I wasn't able to use the PS5 controller because the current iOS did not support it. So let's connect the PS4 controller and start testing out these devices. First, you have to put the PlayStation controller in pair mode. So hold down the PlayStation button and the share button simultaneously until the light starts blinking. Now go to your iPhone or iPad, settings, Bluetooth, and then underneath other devices you should see DualShock 4 controller. Select that and you should be connected. If you haven't already, go ahead and download the Remote Play app, type in Remote Play, and then download that guy. Alright, finally let's go ahead and connect to Remote Play. Sign into your PSN and you should have a selection of what consoles you have available. Now it's telling us to enable Remote Play on the PS5, which we've already done. Ding 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 ding, congratulations! I chose Oddworld because it does require some precision, which could give us a really good baseline to compare to when we're out in Arizona. Alright, let's go ahead and test out all of our gear through a little montage, and then we'll head out to Arizona. Well, we made it to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and thought I'd give this a whirl. And with 80 megabits down, we were able to fire it up. Everything's going pretty smooth. Latency's alright. But things are working, and so yeah, let's keep on trucking. Seeing about 400 more miles. Well, we made it, but it wasn't without a price. That's for sure. There were some nasty passes through Payson, Arizona. It's a very high elevation, lots of snow, tons of people spinning out, sliding off the side of the road. And but this is the moment we've all been waiting for, right? We worked so hard to get here, so now we're gonna see if it's the juice is worth the squeeze, you know? So let's get inside and play a few games and see what you think. Dell Ultrabook i7 is not a bad setup for remote play. As you can see, I recorded my controller so that you could see the latency. The internet was about 200 down, about 8 up. So yeah, best case scenario for this. You're not going to see that in your motels and your hotels. So take that into account with this footage. Pros and cons. Number 1, if you're on a business trip and this is your only laptop or you're out quarantining or whatever, this is legit. It's quick, it has a SSD. It has the i7, runs relatively smoothly, and if all you have to do is pack a controller and a cable, then you're good to go. That's pretty badass. Cons, obviously the display is not great. It's pretty bulky. In my experience, you had to connect the controller via the micro USB cable, so that was not fun. But other than that, good to go. Next! The iPad Pro is probably my favorite device for remote play. Yeah, there's really not a lot of cons, but as far as the pros go, the list goes on. We got number 1, the display is beautiful. Number 2, Bluetooth connectivity to your controllers. Number 3, it's compact, lightweight. Number 4, it's fast, it's a powerful machine. And number 5, iOS 14.5 is around the corner, so you'll be able to connect your PS5 controller to it, and it'll have all these cool settings that come with. So that should be cool. For the cons, number 1, size does matter. I could see that scenario where you're on your lunch break, you have your controller, you whip out your cell phone, and you start playing some Returnal or some Demon Souls. I mean, hell yeah. So I understand that. Number 2 would be price. These things are not cheap. They're nasty. They could really take your wallet. But the iPad Air is just as powerful now and a lot cheaper, so that might be the route to go. And I get it. Those are 2 heavy hitters. They're very important deciding factors. But with that all being said, let's move on to the iPhone X. The iPhone X. Man, how old is this thing in cell phone years? Like 90? This thing should be in senior living, like pushing a walker with the tennis balls on the bottom, right? Pros and cons. Number 1, pretty easy. On-screen controls, makes it easy to pull it out and play it wherever you want. That's cool. OLED screen, so another beautiful display. It's compact, it's in your pocket, ready to go. Also, you get to connect your controller via wireless, and just like the iPad, 14.5 is coming around the corner. You should be able to connect your PS5 to that also. For cons, on-screen controls, they are not that great, and no one's expecting them to be great. That makes sense. Also, it's tiny, you can't really see too well, and it's gonna kill your battery. That's pretty much it. So, alright, onward to the PS4. So the PS4, pretty much self-explanatory. Pros and cons. Pros, it's a solid system, and the way that it works is really nice and clean. And if it doesn't work and you get bored, you could just start playing PS4. So that's kind of an upside. The cons are mainly you have to lug your PS4 around if you're going to want to play. You need TV, you need all sorts of cables, so not really travel friendly. Maybe if you're going to your friend's house and you wanted to show them one of your brand new games on PS5, that's the way to go. I can see that being the ideal scenario. My final thoughts on the remote play on the PS5 is 50-50. I mean, I went on a journey, drove a ton of miles, put it to the test in a very practical way. The good side is it's available, it's an option. You could be in a very boring situation and be able to play some of your games. You know, the other side of the coin is latency. That's the thing that really is a backbreaker. It's its nemesis. It will take everything that's good about it and make it bad. But it's not horrible. You just have to play certain games like Minecraft or Crash Bandicoot. Some of these games where your brain can adjust to the latency and then all of a sudden your brain's just, you know, like it's nothing. And I've definitely used it like that, and it works. So yeah, that is my final thoughts. If I was to give it a score, it'd be like a 6.7 out of 10, something like that. Usable, but not completely there yet. That's okay. I think that's fine. Well, this is the end of another episode of Gear, where we show you all the stuff that we use to create these videos. Most of the time it's just chicken wire and duct tape, right? So for now, I hope you found something remotely useful out of this video, and I want to thank you for coming and hanging out and saying what's up. If you feel like we've earned your subscription, you know what to do. And yeah, that's it. Sayonara. Also, I made this cute little time lapse where I go from Arizona through Utah to Colorado. It didn't make it into the video, so I thought, hey, maybe I just slap it on the end as a little deleted scenes featurette. So didn't want to let it go to waste, you know? So enjoy, and yeah, see you later. Alright, so we're in Utah now. I went and tested out the remote play from here in this hotel, and we got to see some of this. Unfortunately, we did not see any of the monuments. Driving through here is really dark, but I did get to test out the remote play. I was gonna record it, but it's about the same. The internet was abysmal, and it still was pretty decent, so yeah, I would say that was a win. And I think if you really want to play on the road, you're out here, you're doing some vacating, but you still want to play a little bit, I think that's the way to go. You know, just bring your controller and maybe your iPad or something like that. I think you can really make something work. So, alright, now we're driving back to Colorado. We'll see you when we get there. Peace.